You know, we've all been in that spot where we want to give a friend or a colleague some advice in Japanese. Something simple, right? Like, hey, you should probably get some rest. Or maybe you shouldn't eat that. Well, it turns out there's one key grammar pattern that handles all of this perfectly. So let's dive in and break it down.
So the big question is, how do you actually say you should in Japanese? It's such a basic, fundamental part of talking to people, and thankfully, Japanese has a really common and incredibly useful way to do exactly that.
And here it is. The magic phrase isほうがいいです. That's pronouncedほうがいいです. This is absolutely your go-to expression anytime you're giving advice or making a recommendation. It's how you share your opinion on what you think someone ought to do.
Okay, so let's start with the positive stuff. How do you tell someone what they should do? This is what we call the affirmative advice form, and the rule for it is actually surprisingly simple.
It's really just a simple three-step recipe. First, you grab the verb you want to use. Second, and this is the important part, you change it into its short past tense form, which is also known as the ta form. And finally, you just tack onほうがいいですat the end. That's literally it. The key is remembering to use that past tense verb form. Let's see how it works in some real sentences.
Okay, check out our first example. 野菜をたくさん食べた方がいいです. This just means you should eat a lot of vegetables. So the verb to eat is 食べる or 食べる. See how it's been changed to its past tense ta form, 食べた or 食べた, right before our phrase? That's the pattern, right there. Let's look at another one. 太郎は早く寝た方がいいです. Or Taro should go to bed early. It's the exact same logic. The verb for to sleep is 寝る, 寝る. It just becomes its past tense form, 寝た or 寝た. You just plug it right into the formula. So simple, and it works every time. And let's do one more just to really lock this in. この薬を飲んだ方がいいです. You should take this medicine. The verb 飲む, 飲む, which means to drink, or in this case to take, becomes 飲んだ, 飲んだ in its ta form. You see? It's all about that past tense verb. All right, so we've got you should covered. But what about the other side of the coin? Telling someone what they shouldn't do. This is just as important, obviously, but the rule changes just a little bit, and it's a really crucial difference you've got to learn.
So for negative advice, when you want to say you shouldn't, we actually don't use the past tense at all. This is the big change you need to remember. Instead, you take the verb and you change it to its negative plain form, the knife form. After that, it's the same as before. You just add 方がいいです. For instance, have a look at this. 今日は無理をしない方がいいです. You shouldn't push yourself today. The verb here is する. する meaning to do. And its negative ない form is しない or しない. This shows the negative pattern perfectly.
Let's try another one. そのケーキは食べない方がいいです. Which means you'd better not eat that cake. Now, remember our first example about eating vegetables? To say you should eat, we use the past tense 食べた. But here, to say you shouldn't eat, we're using the negative ない form of the exact same verb. 食べない, 食べない.
And for our last negative example, 夜にコーヒーを飲まない方がいいです. You shouldn't drink coffee at night. We saw the verb 飲む earlier for you should take medicine, where it became its past tense form, 飲んだ. But here, for the negative advice, we use its ない form, 飲まない, 飲まない.
Okay, so we've looked at both should and shouldn't. Now, I think the best way to really get this is to put them side by side. When you see them together, that one key difference you have to remember becomes crystal clear. And here it is. This is the whole thing right here. This entire grammar point really just boils down to this one simple choice. For you should, you use the past tense ta form, like tabeta. For you shouldn't, you use the negative nai form, like tabenai. The ending part, 方がいいです, stays exactly the same for both. This is the absolute core concept you need to take away. So let's just do a super quick final recap. The main phrase for giving advice is 方がいいです. If you want to say you should do something, you pair it with the verb's past tense, ta form. And if you want to say you shouldn't do something, you pair it with the verb's negative, nai form. That's really all you need to know to get started.
And now you've got the tool. The structure is simple, but it's really powerful. So the only question left is, what's the first piece of advice that you're going to give using 方がいいです? Think about it and start practicing.